We celebrate the final day of June in Arlington, Texas, where the sun is out once again, and it is another scorcher. Game number 2 of this series with the Texas Rangers out of the AL West. Thanks for joining us once again for White Sox baseball. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. Texas put up a big number yesterday, and on the offensive side for the Sox, Avi Garcia continued his resurgence.
Nice to see Avi back and healthy. Obviously, he was frustrated by missing as many games as he has, but yesterday he started out with a triple and then showed how good his legs were by beating it to third base. Later in the ball game, he drove home a run with this infield base hit. Fine play by Andrus, but he couldn't get it there in time. And so Sox didn't have a whole lot of offense last night, but Avi was a big part of it.
Carlos Rodon on the mound for the Sox today, and he is trying to double up after a great start on Sunday.
I thought it was his best start of the year, and he had just brilliant stuff. Everything working well. He got off to a bit of a shaky start, but then everything started clicking. The curveball was good. The slider was exceptional. His fastball was pinpoint. He did just about everything right. You look at those numbers and you realize that he could be all the way back from his surgery. Against the Rangers lifetime, 1-0, but his ERA up close to 4. And Bartolo Colon, the ageless wonder. 542 starts. It's almost magnificent. This is a 45-year-old still winning, still getting it done. And right here, he doesn't mind the heat because he's pitched in it his whole life.
He certainly has. He debuted in 1997, Colon did. But if Carlos Rodon on the mound doesn't have a long outing in him tonight, the good news is the Sox have the X Factor. Matt Davidson with a 1-2-3 8th yesterday. He's still beaming in his Ukaipa Letterman's jacket. Sox and Rangers, first pitch just around the corner.
Sports Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Blue sky all day here in Arlington, Texas. 1 hour later today, the start time 8:05 or so, as the Rangers and Sox exchange lineup cards. Sox lost in game number 1, 11-3, and they'll face our old friend Bartolo Colon, a 2009 White Sox pitcher. And by the way, Bartolo last time out once again was throwing fastballs and getting people out.
He also has a straight change, which he throws on occasion, but it's usually 80 to 85% fastballs, which is unbelievable at his advanced age. But he's got pinpoint control, always has, can make it move to either side whatever he wants, and nothing is going to intimidate him.
So the Sox lineup is fairly young, you know that. Here's the age of some current Sox players when Bartolo Colon debuted against the Angels April of 1997. Yoan Moncada wasn't 2. Lucas Giolito was not 3, and then Lopez, Fry, Anderson, Rodon, and Tilson weren't 5.
Pretty amazing. He's been around seemingly forever with an occasional bit off. Then he comes back, he's just as good as he ever was.
1 year away from becoming the oldest Texas Ranger ever. Nolan Ryan was 46 when he finished his career. And Carlos Rodon, 20 years Bartolo Colon Jr. will be his opposition on the mound. And here's the White Sox lineup. It's brought to you by the Webb Auto Group, the best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. Moncada, Sanchez, Abreu. The two Garcias pair up. Matt Davidson off the mound today. Then Anderson, Narvaez, and Engel.
The defensive setup for the Rangers presented by UI Health, and this is how Jeff Bannister is going to put them out there tonight. It's Rua, DeShields, and Mazzara left to right. With Profar, Andrus, Odor, and Gallo in the infield. Robinson Chirinos has the plate once again, and our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is the amazing Bartolo Colon. On for his 15th start, his 17th game. He's 4-5. His ERA at 4 3/4. You look at just 54 strikeouts in 87 2/3 innings, but he doesn't walk many people, only 13 of them. And right-handers, left-handers alike, well, they hit him about the same, but he has given up the 19 home runs. He's around the plate with everything, and we'll take a look at the umpires. As a crew chief, Joe West has the plate. Then it's Mark Ripperger, Doug Eddings, Marty Foster, first to third. And turning into a beautiful night for baseball. A little warm, but a late start, and it's taken away some of that intense heat.
Now, Bartolo Colon is 1 win away from tying Dennis Martinez for the all-time wins lead for a Latin American-born pitcher. He was born in 1973 in Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic. Win number 245 would be the next one, and the Sox try and keep him away from it as Moncada once again goes after the first pitch and has a base hit. About 30% of the time this year he's swung at the first pitch, and he's got a single tonight.
That is largely at the insistence of Jose Abreu, who kept saying to him, look, you're taking a whole lot of pitches and you're missing some pretty good pitches early in the count. So go up there, be prepared to swing. If it's out of the zone, obviously don't. But if it's in the zone, take a shot at it. And now you had a situation where it's a good running combination, although Chirinos throws well.
Well, it's a good matchup to swing first pitch as well, because you're talking about Colon, who is a big-time fastball pitcher. You know what you're going to see likely, although sometimes he goes away from it.
His straight change, which that was, thrown for strikes more times than not.
Moncada 8 for 10 in steals, and he draws a throw. The Sox tied for first in baseball with 64 steals. Washington with 64 as well. Colon most recently with the Sox in 09, couple of stints including 2003 as well, right after he pitched for Montreal. Of course, he came up with Cleveland back in 1997. Sanchez to left field, and he drops it down the line. Moncada turns on the Jets for third. Sanchez to second base, and welcome back Yolmer with that quad injury. very quickly into second base with the mouse ears, and a hello from Odor.
That looked like the third of 3 changeups, and this one hit off the end of the bat, dumped into left field. The reason why that's important is Bartolo Colon this year has had some problems with the changeup. Opponent's hitting .406 against that same pitch, so he's either tipping it or it's not getting quite enough movement.
A couple we saw there just kind of hung around in the strike zone.
And the last one wound up down the line.
Now Abreu hits it hard on the ground. Andrews comes home and out at the plate. Chirinos hung on. Gutsy play by Andrews to cut down Moncada.
Well, normally when you play back in the middle infield, you're going to concede the run, and normally you would do that, except Elvis Andrews decided he was coming home with it. I don't believe that Yoan Moncada thought for one instant that throw was coming to the plate, but he's out by plenty as Chirinos has the ball, blocks the plate, and no way for Moncada to get by him.
If you need to go in the baseline to receive the throw, you're allowed to go into the baseline to receive the throw, and that's why that's a legal play. So 1 down, runners at first and second. And Colon flinches back at Sanchez, who's got a big smile on his face.
He just wanted to get Yomer's heart beating a little bit as Yomer looks around to find out where the players are. And the man charged with keeping him close is Odor.
Javi Garcia hits it in the air right center field and playable for DeShields. Sanchez tags and hoofs it to third. 2 down in the inning.
Pretty easy to see the game plan of the Sox tonight against Bartolo. He's going to be around the plate with everything. You might as well swing early in the count, and they've gone up there and tried to attack the first pitch just about each and every time.
So 4 hitters, 6 pitches. There you have it.
That's the advantage of throwing a lot of strikes. And with Todd Steverson, the hitting coach, they've decided go up early and don't let much get by.
That's typically this guy's plan anyway. Leori Garcia. He swings middle infield. Andrews takes it and freezes Abreu. Turns to the bag and says hello on the way by. Sox get a couple of hits, but no runs against the ageless Bartolo Colon. Starting lineup, it's brought to you by the Webb Auto Group. And it starts with Delino DeShields up top. Chu gets the day off. Andrews, Mazzara, Beltre, Odor, Profar, Chirinos, Gallo, and Rua gets the start at left field.
Defensive setup for our Sox presented by UI Health, and this is how Ricky is going to put them out there tonight with Liuri, Adam, and Avisayo left to right with Yomer, Tim, Yoan, and Jose in the infield. Omar Narvaez gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitcher. Coming off just a great outing is Carlos Rodon. 1-2 this year, his ERA a fine 3.70. There you look at the rest of the numbers, only 7 walks and 24 1/3, so control has not been a factor.
First pitch on this steamy Saturday is a strike to Delino DeShields, who was 2 for 3 in the game yesterday. Tremendous speed at the top of the card with 15 stolen bases for Delino DeShields. And Anderson hustles the throw to get rid of that tremendous speed. 1 down. Here's Elvis Andrus, who dealt with a fractured elbow earlier this year, back in the lineup for 92 at bats so far.
We didn't see it at all last night, I think because the game was a blowout, but we're going to see some bunts. We didn't see it from DeShields leading off. He will bunt, especially up the first base side later in the game, and Odor will also bunt, as he's been doing quite a lot of that. Surprisingly, Joey Gallo has also bunted, and you think of him as pretty much a slugger and that's it, but he'll lay down a bunt on occasion.
Well, the Rangers last night played a home run derby.
Yeah, they didn't have to lay anything down. So Yomer at third base, and the rest of the infield the same. Nice to see Yomer back.
Yeah, it is still a little swelling in that quad, but he's ready to go. We saw him hopping up and down and taking pictures and doing everything he does pregame. No restrictions on his baseball activities.
Well, that's good. He's got a little extra padding above that left knee. Probably a compression bandage.
Line to left and foul.
Sounded like a cracked bat, and that's because it was a splintered bat. That's one of the things that Carlos did the last time out. He was able to get the ball inside on the right-hand hitters consistently all afternoon. And by going in there, it makes the outside corner look that further away. So that's what he did last time. The sinker and the four-seam are both fastballs. They're just gripped differently. The sinker, obviously, for ground balls. The four-seam for high fastballs, which is his wipeout pitch, and the slider. Only 19 of them, but he'll throw more as he feels more comfortable.
Tried to stuff the ball on the inside corner. It's 3-2 for Andrews. Yeah, we haven't really seen that tremendous slider yet, routinely in one full start.
I think what has to happen is his arm has to get really strong before he feels that he can throw 25 to 30 of those each and every game. Right now, he doesn't have quite as much arm strength as he's going to have later on, so he's going away from it.
Another shattered bat. Sanchez to Abreu for out number 2. As we tell you what you're going to see in our telecast other than firewood. Our menu tonight has some summer bargains at the swap meet around Major League Baseball. Big day for Keon Broxton. And then, just because we wanted to write that headline, Rose blooms in Birmingham, we have a big home run from the Barons for you. It's a hot one for the kiddos here tonight.
Hydrated. You've got to keep her hydrated.
Yeah, this is one of those places that is reputedly probably the hottest in baseball, other than a really rough summer day in Kansas City. Would you agree?
Kansas City, St. Louis, very similar, but you're right. Probably a little more consistent humidity in those places than here, but as far as flat out temperature, it's going to be 102 tomorrow.
Day baseball tomorrow as well on getaway day. And that one just missed. 1 ball and 1 strike on Nomar Mazara, who had one of those 5 home runs last night for the Rangers. They jumped on Dylan Covey early.
We talked about the fact that Nomar Mazara did not run a couple of plays out last night, and it turns out that he was suffering from an injury to his leg. It happened a few days before, and so his manager, Jeff Bannister, gave him the okay to just ease into everything because they thought his bat could help.
Sanchez on that line drive, and there is out number 3, Rodon. A 1-2-3 first.
Tonight's game.
And we'd like to welcome all our viewers streaming the game on YouTube TV. Thanks for joining us wherever you may be. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Our entire crew here in Arlington, Texas, as Matt Davidson, pitcher extraordinaire, stands in. Matt, evidently, if you missed it, he had his performance on the mound. He had a 1-2-3-8 last night, and evidently he's been pushing for some time. It came up in conversation recently that if there was a need for an emergency pitcher, who might that be? And Matt made it very clear to the coaches that his ideal situation, he called it a dream come true last night, would be to get out on the mound, and he looked the part.
He absolutely looked like a pitcher.
Davidson hits it well to right field on a line and off the wall. That bounces away from Mazzara. Davidson to second base, and he stops right there. It's a leadoff double for Shohei Ohtani's cousin, Matt Davidson.
Well, Matt Davidson had delusions of grandeur for just a moment because he started to accelerate around second base and then realized that that's a long way from home to third. So he pulled it up, stayed at second as this one caroms away from Mazzara. But he got it back in time to hold the very speedy Matt Davidson at second base.
He has had quite the series. Matt Davidson ran into Don Cooper before we got to the ballpark at the team hotel. And I said, Coop, what'd you think of last night? And he said, we're just trying to make dreams come true.
That's it.
Yeah.
The appeal at first base? Nope, nothing doing.
So Davidson at second, nobody out. Anderson. Sox with 6 balls in play so far, 6 batters. And Tim goes after the first one to ground it foul. Nice play by a fan there. Well, you bring your glove.
Yeah, you bring your glove to the park and good things happen. Last 7, Tim has been red hot, but for sure he wants to get it to the right side in this at bat. Bartolo, knowing that, is staying on the inside part of the plate.
Wind really blowing again tonight here in Arlington. Cologne strikes him out inside, one away. And you were talking about it, predominantly fastball of some type for Cologne.
The four seam and the sinker both. That's 80% of the pitches. The changeup, the slider, not so much. But he's going to come at you with fastballs. That's why our offense is swinging very early in the count, because he throws lots of strikes. He's not going to walk anybody, or very few guys. 13 and now 90 innings of work.
Just twice this year he's given up more than 4 earned runs, so he has been an extremely viable member of this rotation for the Rangers. And you know he's just going to take the ball and go throw it as many times as you ask him to. Pulling a strike on Omar, who's been hitting the ball very well recently. 6 of his last 9 starts, he's had at least 2 hits.
Bartolo's really had to adjust as his career has moved along. When he came up originally with the Cleveland Indians, he was a blazer. I mean, 100-mile-an-hour fastball consistently. 18 and 5 in 1999 with the Indians. His ERA in 32 starts was .395.
Left side, Andrews keeps it on the infield and saves the shutout for the moment. It's an infield single, but Elvis Andrews rescues a run likely.
This is what a good third base coach is going to do. Andrews keeps the ball in the infield. Matt Davidson taking a look at it. He doesn't really know if it scored through or not. And Nick Capra gets in his line of sight when he got to third base, ran right at him, pointing to the bag, saying it's in the infield, and making sure Matt Davidson would not advance.
Nick Capra has done it all in this game, in the White Sox system especially. He's been a manager in the minor leagues. He's been in charge of the farm system. He's been third base coach now in the big leagues.
Let's take a look again. We'll go with a wide angle and we'll watch Nick Capra. Now he realizes that this ball might not get through, and you see him run right at Davidson to get his attention and make sure that they can't throw behind him and record the out. That's good coaching at third.
Off the plate, 1-1 from Cologne to Adam Engel, who was 1 for 3 last night, but hit the ball hard twice.
When you have a chance to break through against Bartolo, you really have to take advantage, because he's not going to walk anybody to help you out. He's going to make sure you hit the ball. You're going to have some innings where you get 2 or 3 hits. You certainly want to score at least 1, possibly 2.
Check swing and strike 2.
No appeal necessary, as Joe West said he did go round.
Davidson at third, Narvaez at first. 1-2 is inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now we'll do 2-2 from Cologne. Into left field, on a line and down. The Sox break through. Adam Engel does it. Davidson scores. Narvaez to third, an RBI double.
Bartolo tries to go inside. This is the off-speed pitch, and Engel rips it to left field. By the time Rua gets it back in, runners at second and third, but the Sox have the lead.
So Davidson started it with a double. Narvaez a one-out single, and Engel drives in a run. Moncada with a chance now to add on. That's outside, ball one.
Greg Sparks talking with Matt Davidson.
Now Colon misses the zone twice in a row, 2-0, and you would imagine this would be a meatball to hit for Moncada.
Well, it's probably going to be in the zone, but there's going to be some taken off. He's not going to throw his usual 88 miles an hour here, I don't think.
There's a strike at 91.
Added a little something, because if he's sitting on that fastball, I might as well give him a little bit or take a little bit off, but it's not the fastball that Bartolo usually throws.
Two and one. He went off speed, 2-2. Well, you were talking about that yesterday, that Colon turns his fastball into an array of pitches.
Yep, he has to do it. I mean, at this point, he'll cut it on occasion and throw that straight change, which he just did. So between the straight change and his best fastball right now, there's 9 miles an hour disparity. The optimum is 11. .91 again in on his hands.
Chirinos says keep it down. 2-2. It's inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Tried to throw that running fastball right at the thigh of Moncada and run it back over the plate, but didn't come back far enough for Colon.
Three and 2. Moncada hits it in the air, foul territory, and out of play. So where do you get Bartolo Colon? Because he's all over the strike zone. Where's the batting average highest? Downstairs, middle in to right-handers, but upstairs he's had pretty good success so far this year. About halfway through the season, so the numbers get more robust as the weeks go on.
One of the reasons is that usually when he does go upstairs, it's his fastest fastball. He'll do different things with it when he stays downstairs.
Time called by Moncada. Sox with 5 hits already in the game and 9 batters. Sanchez has one. Moncada has one. Inside, ball 4, bases loaded.
Chirinos to the mound. Beltre coming on.
And we take the opportunity to remind you that you should pick Pito to represent the Sox at the 2018 All-Star Game. Help send Jose Abreu to Washington, D.C. this summer in just a couple of weeks. Voting ends on July the 5th. So be sure to vote today. Just a couple of days left to vote for Abreu. Visit whitesox.com/vote to submit your All-Star ballot. Abreu's still the leading vote getter in the American League over at first base.
And hopefully that continues.
You can make it so by voting online. Sanchez with the bases loaded, one down. Takes ball one. Colon in 5 starts this June before tonight had walked 6 batters. So control lapses, as you mentioned, are not very typical for him, but he's outside again, 2-0.
Joaquin Moncada falling behind on Yolmer. It's created a problem for Bartolo Colon.
Outside, 3 balls, no strikes. 4 for 6 this year with the bases loaded for Sanchez.
Pretty good.
.30 in there, 3-1. Well, if you're betting against Bartolo Colon to throw something down the middle to avoid a 4-pitch walk, you took the wrong side of the argument. An almost imperceptible nod at Chirinos. 3-1 to Sanchez, hit in the air to right field. Mazzara is there. Narvaez tags from third and scores, and the Sox lead 2-0.
RBI number 36 for Yolmer, so he's having a nice year driving in runs. That a sacrifice fly. Hitting it deep enough so Mazzara can't do anything with it except get it back in. So he goes down, gets that off-speed pitch, and hits it just far enough.
Yolmer will take the RBI. And Jose Abreu gets a chance with 2 out. It's ball 1 to Abreu, and if there's anything that's been the hallmark of Jose in what's been kind of a rough and tumble month of June, it's been expanding his strike zone.
I think that's a natural tendency when the team is not playing well and you're the leading run producer, is to go out of the zone and try to drive home some runs. It's not usually all that productive.
Well, credit the Sox here, because as we said, the game plan in the first inning was rather simple. Get up there, swing the bat at first pitch strikes, and now the first pitch strikes have gone away. And so is the Sox early swinging. Changed it up, 2-1. Pitch number 40. For Colon, most of those here in the second inning. Wide of third. You've talked a lot about max effort pitchers in 2018. This is not one of those.
No, he was one of those for the first many years of his career. Probably I'd say the first 10-12 years it was big fastball, good hard slider, and that was about it. And then when the fastball disappeared, he had a choice. He could either leave the game or try to get crafty, and he's as crafty as they get.
Good for the game to have that in the game.
Yeah, it is. It sure is.
2-2. Jose fights it off. Born in 1973, Bartolo Colon. Avi Garcia on deck. Colon's ready on 2-2. Abreu lights it up down the left field line, and into the corner, foul.
Get out ahead of that one. Unfortunately, he hooked it. Not a whole lot of room between that line and the stands. And that one just foul. Got a good piece of this away, but took it down the line with a little hook on it. And it just kept on hooking.
This will be pitch number 36 of the inning for Cologne. That's inside and low, 3-2. So a Sox team that was dead last in baseball in walk rate coming in, waiting out Bartolo Colon.
He's been missing inside, which is a rarity. Chirinos has vibrant colored nails, so Bartolo can see the signs.
Inside, he walked him. Abreu takes ball 4 on 8 pitches, and Avi Garcia has the bases loaded. Eighth batter of the inning is Avi Garcia, and Doug Brocale on the phone early. Fly ball on the first pitch he saw in the first inning for Avi. This one swung through. A changeup starts him off. A little more changeup heavy than normal tonight for Cologne.
I think for whatever reason he's just not feeling the fastball. I think it's more the location of the fastball than it is the fastball, because it's at 91, which is certainly good enough, but he can't throw it consistently for strikes yet.
Down again, 1-1.
Tony Barnett, who we saw last night, up early in this one.
He faced 3 batters, gave up 1 hit, and through 2/3 of the 8th inning. In again, 2-1.
And that's the pitch that Bartolo's missed with consistently, the fastball inside to the right-handers. He doesn't have a feel for that corner.
And when you throw 80% fastball, if you don't have a feel for the fastball, there's not much left.
Nope, there isn't. He's gonna try to get it done with the straight change.
Two balls and a strike. Down low, 3-1.
Erie in the on deck circle. See how patient Jeff Bannister is if Bartolo keeps fighting his control.
His shortest start this year was 3 1/3 back on the 12th at the Dodgers. Avi to second base. Rougned Odor completes the inning. Sox get 2 on a bundle of base runners, and the sun sets on the rally.
NBC Sports NASCAR broadcast team. Same Dale, new view. It all starts tomorrow live from Chicagoland at 1:30 Central on NBCSN.
Some in the hockey playoffs. He'll do a very good job. He was on set for a little while during the hockey.
I would assume that he's pretty comfortable where he is. It's a lot less dangerous.
Yeah, and a little cooler too, I would imagine.
You
Those
would think
hot
so.
days in the driver's seat. There's a strike to Beltre. Carlos Rodon with a long sip on the bench.
It's impossible to sip it up in this weather, I would believe, however.
Does the heat do anything to a pitcher of consequence?
Not if you're in good shape. I used to really enjoy it. I loved the humidity and the heat, but I always felt that I would make sure I was in better shape than the guy that was my mound opponent and hope that he wilted before I did.
Talking about conditioning.
Yes.
Weight.
Well, weight varies with the size of the pitcher you're pitching against. However, it's basically conditioning, and it's getting yourself used to the fact that you're going to go out there and you're going to go deep into the game. Regardless of what happens, your job is to go deep into the game each and every time. Now, different philosophy now because complete games are going the way of the dodo bird. However, I think the more time you spend on the mound, the more outs you get, the less the bullpen has to cover. And we've seen that normally the first few guys out of the bullpen are not the guys you want when you're going to win a game late. Those aren't the guys that appear in that game. Every manager has guys. He'd like to have 4 of them ideally that you put in the game starting with the 7th inning. And those are the guys you use when you're ahead in games.
Yeah, there's a winning bullpen and
absolutely.
a lost bullpen. 3-2 is there. Strike 3 call. Beltre got locked up, and if he argues, he's just wrong. That was strike 3, and it had all of the plate.
Well, he's talking with Joe West, and what Joe is saying is, look, you might not have seen it as a strike, but it was a strike, and you might want to just relax. It's a hot night, and go sit on the bench.
Let's go, says Joe.
It's there, and look, it looked a bit lower to the fans because watch the glove of Narvaez. He takes it down to start. Now, when you take it down to start, even if you bring it back up, fans and the umps in the stands believe that it is lower than the strike zone. That was not the case that time.
And sometimes you actually won't get the call because of that. In this case, Joe West was right on it. But the fans can go back to their bobbleheads because it is Rougned Odor bobblehead night.
He's been swinging it pretty well, by the way.
Yeah, he's a dangerous hitter. The bobblehead is Rougned Odor on top of his horse Smokey. So it's a bobblehead and a bobble horse.
Rangers gave him that horse in a contract negotiation. We talked about Odor bunting, and he wanted to drag it with him. He's also really improved his defense. He spent the entire month of June without an error, which the way he's been fielding the last couple of years, that's a marked improvement.
One of the stranger contract negotiation points in baseball history. Give me a horse and I'll sign with you.
Not quite 40 acres and a mule, but it's right up there.
It's true. 1-2. That swung through for strike 3, and Rodon with back-to-back punch-outs here in the second. Join us Saturday, July 14th. Sox take on the Royals, 1:10 p.m. A 93 reunion featuring Ozzie and Bo, Rock Reigns, and more. First 20,000 fans get a commemorative 93 authentic fan pennant presented by NBC Sports Chicago. Buy your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. That will be a fun day for the kids in my age group and older Sox fans as well who enjoyed that team. But there are quite a few Sox fans I've run into the last couple years who said that they became fans of the team because of that 93 team that ran into the Blue Jay buzzsaw, but was extremely fun to watch.
Well, most of them are going to be there. And a lot of Sox fans in the stands in this series.
It's too hot for that beard.
Never too hot for a beard. I'm all in favor of him wearing it.
Yeah, completely disagree. Way too hot for a beard down here. It sticks to your face. Especially a fake beard.
Yeah, one is an official beard and the other is melting off his face. That kind of beard is tough to keep around.
Seems as though the spirit gum doesn't work as well as you would imagine in the heat as that guy is struggling. 1-2. Check swing on that breaking ball in the dirt. 2-2.
There's a real beard.
A layman's beard.
That's a substantial beard.
Three balls and 2 strikes. Could hide a horse in that beard. Just here from Honolulu. Three balls, 2 strikes from Rodon. Check swing, ball in the dirt. And he is what?
He said he
He's
swung.
out. Yep.
He said he swung, and that's the inning. Strike out the inning, and Profar is gone.
Well, Profar thought he walked. Joe West did not. Rodon strikes out the side. And we'll go to the third. It's a 50-50 on this swing. And the Sox get the benefit. You decide. Texas Globe Life Park. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Thanks for joining us as the Sox have 2 off of Bartolo Colon. And Leori Garcia, the former Ranger, takes a strike. Garcia made his major league debut in this ballpark in a Texas jersey April 6th, 2013, more than 5 years ago now. He was a pinch hitter that day for Lance Berkman.
Pretty good hitter was Lance Berkman from both sides of the plate.
Right side, Gallo the stab. Garcia is out. That's very close. I don't know. This is worth the challenge, I would imagine. That's what Daryl Boston's saying. He thought he was safe.
Well, Leary thought he was safe, and Joe McEwing on the phone.
I thought real time he was safe too. Let's see. Tie goes to the runner.
Nope. It's very close, but it's out on the field. I don't think they'll take a look at it, so we'll see it again. And Leary probably gets there quicker by running, and he's taken down by headfirst sliding and also risking a season-ending injury.
I think it's safe to say on that call it's pretty close to 50-50 if you're just evaluating the play without the requirement of indisputable evidence to overturn. However, the call on the field
right.
being what it was, it's not worth it to review even if you do think he might be safe.
You know, whatever the call was, it was going to stand. Meantime, very good play by Gallo. That one was not easy.
Davidson, a ground ball foul, 1-2. We told you about Matt's pitching performance yesterday. And we had mentioned during the game that he went to high school with Taiwan Walker in Yucaipa, California. And Matt says, forget about that. I was the ace of the staff. He had a 1.06 ERA in high school. So, Matt, he was a DH pitcher type. His favorite player growing up, we showed him last night. He was Randy Johnson.
Can't blame him. He was a lot of people's favorite. What a great pitcher Randy Johnson was.
Cologne may have found the reins on the fastball. 2 down. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com. The only group that didn't think Randy Johnson was a great pitcher was the Bird Lobby.
No, and most left-hand hitters. We're really happy with facing it.
John Kruk.
John Kruk, Larry Walker. Both.
Left side. Andrews had to hurry, and Tim Speed pushed that button.
So we'll have to see how that's scored, because if he fields it cleanly and throws it across, he's going to get him. Keeps the inning alive one way or the other. On the transfer, the ball goes away.
What do you think?
Well, from a pitching standpoint, I believe everything's E6.
Even if it went to second base?
Then it's E4. But that's a base hit. Tim will definitely take it.
The reason I'd argue for that being a hit is that the runner's speed caused the fielder to hustle the play and created a quicker transfer. So you credit the batter for that causation.
Having speed?
Yeah.
Now, if he fields it cleanly and throws it across, is he out?
But he's got to hurry the transfer. It's an abnormal play based on the average base runner.
Abby normal?
Yeah. She's
Going
our
back to
stage
young
manager.
Frankenstein? Oh, okay. Well, yes. That's how it was scored.
So what you're saying is, in essence, the forward phrase, you were right, Jason.
No.
Yep. 0-1 to Narvaez. Another throw to first on Anderson, who's stolen 17 bags this year. There's the 77% clip. Odor at second, waits for it, collects it, and ends the inning. 2-out hit does no harm to Cologne. Sox still lead.
MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Hashtag too hot for a beer. Although you can go to the spectacular Goat Showdown if you care.
That's always a great event. Makes the goats very happy.
You ever been?
No. But I get on my bucket list.
The spectacular Goat Showdown.
Yep.
Carlos Rodon has been the GOAT, as they say, the kids say, greatest of all time.
Well, so far 6 up, 6 down against a team that's been swinging it very well. Chirinos won't hit for average. He will run into a couple. He ran into one last night. Almost ran into a second one.
Almost got run into that time. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That one almost took the left knee out, but he was able to avoid it.
Chirinos is smiling a lot more than he would have had that ball hit him.
And that could have been a season ender.
To Sanchez, who snares it and has out number 1, giving us time to show you our Rocket Mortgage breakdown tonight. And it's Carlos Rodon, who in 70 games has gotten to 400 White Sox strikeouts. He is the 2nd fastest of all time. Only player on the list who started his career with the Sox. How about that?
Very impressive, and that's the kind of stuff you have when you're a first-round pick, the 3rd player overall, as was Carlos Rodon.
Left-hander out of North Carolina State, who has pitched well for the Sox this year since coming off the disabled list. That first start in Boston took him a couple of innings to find the slider, but right around the 4th he started to really find the reins of it.
I think that's normal, coming back and knowing that that probably is going to tax the shoulder just about as much as any other pitch. But lately he's been just excellent with everything. Fastball has a lot of life to it, and now he's starting to hit the strike zone with the slider consistently.
Heard one prominent agent today saying that the shift was discriminatory to left-hand batters. However, when they do this, they beat the shift. Joey Gallo's 2nd home run in as many days, and the flags are out.
That gives him 20 this year. He's now driven in 44. Not going to see a whole lot of ground balls coming off his bat, but when it does exit the ballpark, it's among the highest exit velocities in all of baseball. And that was a rocket to center. So we'll show it to you again. Our 4th home run replay. It's a fastball down the middle, and it is cranked.
Carlos knew it when he threw it. And now he's got a strike to Rua. First hit, first base runner, first run, all in one for Texas. Up the middle, Moncada. Round number 2.
That's going to go 1-4-3 because I think it got a piece of Carlos on the way out to second base. Joe West comes out, wants to know if he's okay. I think it got him below the knee and didn't get him flush.
Vince Velasquez for the Phillies.
He got hit flush.
Oh my goodness. We were watching that before the game. Pitcher for Philadelphia got hit hard with a ball, then picked it up with his left hand, threw it to first, got the out, and collapsed.
Who's a right-hand pitcher? He got hit in the throwing arm, and then because he's ambidextrous, was able to get the out. But he won the battle and lost the war for the moment, so hopefully he's going to be okay. He's one of their better pitchers.
Came out after 2 innings of that game as the Phillies beat the Nationals 3-2. It's becoming quite the race in the National League East between Atlanta and Philadelphia and Washington.
Well, everybody felt Washington would run away with it. That hasn't been the case. And Philadelphia, a whole lot better than people thought. Atlanta, very good. And they've got control of the division for now.
What a rebirth for Nick Markakis. That Atlanta team 12 over coming into play today. 46-34. The Phillies chasing 2.5.
Well, they were building around Freddie Freeman. Then Markakis got down there and suddenly had a rebirth. And with all their young stars coming to the major leagues, and most of them very good, Atlanta is just a solid baseball team. And they still, with all the young talent in the major leagues, they still have an inordinate amount of talent in their minor leagues.
Yeah. They're up 11-0 right now on the Cardinals. That's Max Fried on the mound, Lucas Giolito's high school buddy. Both from Santa Monica and Harvard Westlake High School. In the air, center field. Angles back on it. And that retires the side. Rangers get a run. Sox still have the lead.
Military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Welcome back to the former ballpark at Arlington. It's now Globe Life Park for the next couple of years before Globe Life Field is created. Very near this site, the new ballpark should be ready by 2020 as Adam Engel serves this ball to left and Ryan Rua on the warning track for route number 1.
That was kind of a hanging off speed pitch over the middle of the plate. And Adam hit it well, just a little short of the scoreboard.
Well, Bartolo Colon, who has dealt with elbow trouble in the past, had quite the experimental surgery a bunch of years ago when he flew to the Dominican Republic and had a stem cell treatment. It was essentially fat and bone marrow cells that were taken out of Colon and injected into his elbow as Moncada is out into center. 2 down. It was something of a controversial treatment, but it helped Colon get back into baseball shape and find a job, and his career has sailed on from there.
And now there's a couple of different things that people are using, stem cells being one of them, in a number of different injection sites. So Bartolo was one at the beginning of that, and now a lot of people are doing the same thing.
Strike 1 to Sanchez, who's doubled and hit a sac fly. There's that running fastball that found the corner.
He didn't have it early, and that's one of his best weapons. He throws it right at the hip of the left-hand hitter. They give up on it, and then it comes over the inside corner. He's been able to do that for a lot of years, even when he threw harder than he's doing now.
Down with a changeup, 1-2.
Interesting setup by Chirinos as he got his entire body off the plate. Had just his right leg on the plate. That was for the last pitch away. Now Bartolo wants it away again. You see where he sets up. So he's giving Bartolo the target, and what he does is he puts the catcher's glove and he puts just the web of the glove on the outside corner, which means that a good 2.5 inches of the glove are not on the plate. If he hits the glove, he's going to get the benefit of the call, and he doesn't really have to move it. It's really what fairly crafty catchers will do, and you see Chirinos doing it there.
To third, Profar handles the hop and zips it to Gallo, and a 1-2-3-4 for Bartolo Colon. Presented by Modelo and St. Xavier University. This event features photo ops with Sox great Jose Contreras, insights from sports industry professionals, and networking opportunities. Tickets include the pregame panel, upper terrace suite tickets, food, and Sox swag. Still too hot for a beard, and it's 2-1 Sox in the fourth. Rodon for Andrews. Texas team has one of the best batting averages the past couple of weeks in baseball, and with that win last night, they're 10-2 in their last 12. So not the right time to be playing Texas.
No, they were really banged up most of this year, and as soon as they started getting the left side back, Beltre is back, Andrews is back. That makes a big difference in his team, and with it, you've got Odor swinging the bat a whole lot better. He says as he's started to relax more and as he swung not quite as hard, he's hitting the ball farther. So an interesting turn of events for Rougned Odor. He's hit 33 and 30 home runs here the last couple of years, so he certainly can do that.
Breaking ball downstairs and scooped out to center, where Adam Engel patrols. And here is your Sox Math question. Hashtag Sox Math. First correct answer wins a road prize. Number of outs Matt Davidson got on the mound last night multiplied by the number of times he's pitched in his professional career, including last night.
Can I play tonight?
You can, yes. But somebody probably already has it.
I would think so. That's a real easy one. That sets the record for easy ones.
You think so?
Yeah. I know it's a weekend.
Yeah.
I know you have this tradition of doing that very easily on the weekends, but yikes, that was really easy.
Well, we have so many gifts here in Texas that we've just got to give them away. We need to make sure some wonderful home gets this light that I've borrowed to take a look at my papers in the booth. On the ground, up the middle, base hit for Nomar Mazara. And he's 1 for 2. First base runner on, actually. Gallo homered as the only base runner, but he was never actually on base for another batter.
Mazara hit the ball hard the first time up, lining to Yomer, and this time he took it right back through the middle. So the left-hand hitters have done a nice job against Carlos, which is unusual. As Beltre probably still talking about the last time up, where he got called out on, for him, a questionable strike, but it was not questionable.
Well, one of the two parties is laughing hysterically.
And the other is close to throwing him out.
Or the other is laughing behind his mask now. That could be too. Beltre takes ball 1.
With the leg problems Beltre has had, and normally how hard he hits the ball, you get him to hit it on the ground, it's going to be an easy 2.
Well, Adrian Beltre, I think it was a couple years ago, he was ejected from a game for being too close to the plate in the on-deck circle. As you see, that was when he was chasing 3,000 hits. He has 3,105 now. But he was on the verge of 3,000, and he was ejected by Jerry Davis, I think it was, because there was some argument over where the on-deck circle was supposed to be. He was too close to home plate. He had grabbed the on-deck circle and slid it somewhere and was thrown out for the hijinks.
See, I've always shown you that hitters will take every advantage to exceed the rules if they can. There's just a great example of
high in the air and playable. Garcia for out number 2. And pitchers never would even think about skirting the rules.
It would never enter their mind, because they, of all the positions out there, they are the ones that abide by the rules the most on a nightly and daily basis.
So there would never be a substance on the ball.
Not a foreign substance. Made right here in the good US of A.
Yeah, saliva, pine tar,
A couple others, yeah.
sandpaper.
What you might find. Sometimes suntan lotion, I've understood, because you don't want the ball to get sunburned.
Hey, what's the definition of I've understood there? Somebody's told you?
Yes, my dear friends have shared that with me over the years. Lo, these many years.
Care to be totally honest right now?
No, of course not.
Whether or not
What,
you
you
just
nuts?
tried it?
Oh, did I? Well, I would try. Never took it into a game, but I would try everything on the sidelines, knowing,
Really?
yeah, knowing that I would want to impart it later on in some facet of my career, but never wanting to skirt the bounds of propriety during the course of a game.
So you would want to apply it as a teacher of some kind?
No, just an advisor.
Steve Stone Consulting. I didn't break the rules, but you will.
No, it's just giving people the option, not necessarily encouraging them to do anything, just filling them with information they might use somewhere down the road.
Yeah. All right, so when you were playing with certain substances to mess around on
Sure.
the sideline, what worked?
Clear pine tar was outstanding.
Yeah?
My friends told me it was just wonderful. It,
No.
It tightened up.
You admitted to this one. You don't have to hide behind the veil of friends.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, yes, you said.
Not in the game.
Oh, not in the game, definitely. Yes. You can see it. It's that stick that guys use. Manny Mota, I think, came out with it called a Mota stick, and it's a reddish pine tar that hitters use on the bat to get a better grip. And if you heat it, it clarifies, and actually it melts clear, not red. Kind of interesting. It's a science project, actually,
Yeah.
for the N1 off season.
So you did that.
I experimented with it. Yeah.
And what does it do to the ball?
It tightens up the spin considerably. Both the slider and the curveball. Curveball especially. And there you go. On cue, we have it right there. It looks red. It is, except if you heat it up.
How, pray tell, did you think about putting it in the microwave? Where did you come upon that?
No microwaves at the time. That was well before the microwave was invented. When was that invented? The 40s? No, they had something used to be called, and I still think they might have it, the hydroculator. Yep.
Okay.
Just set it on top. It melted, and there you go.
2-2 inside. What else? You did the pine tar. You mentioned suntan lotion, so I figured you might have dabbled there.
Well, that was to make sure that, you know, you didn't get burned unnecessarily. Some people were known to actually use KY jelly.
Really?
Yeah, which gives the ball a little slippery type of release and looks, to all intents and purposes, like a spitter.
That was there, and he didn't get the call. It's ball 4. Odor is on.
Well, that was a really good pitch, and I think Carlos most unhappy. Certainly, Omar Narvaez is mentioning to Joe West, you need to take a better look at this, Joe. And maybe the big factor was Omar wanted the ball on the outside part of the plate, and he came across and carried it out of the zone, and that could very well be the difference in that particular call, because when we took a look at PitchCast, that ball had most of the inside corner. So a big call that went the Rangers' way.
You lose the chance to end the inning with the left-hander. Now you've got the righty Profar, who is about 30 points better in batting average against left-handers, and takes ball 1. Carlos just said that wasn't even close. Right now he's thinking about that last pitch to Odor.
He certainly is, and now you have to get your composure back and go back to throwing strikes.
What's the biggest risk if you're mad?
There are certain sports and certain positions where you can get angry and it helps you. Certainly your football players can get angry, and if you're a lineman, you're a linebacker, it helps you. I've always felt for a pitcher, anger is a luxury you can't afford because it distorts your perceptions. And when you're thinking about maybe taking a little something off, if you're angry, you want to add a little something to the fastball. The fastball then straightens out, or you don't have control of it. So it's one of the emotions you have to completely take out of the equation. And one of the ways that I used to do that is give myself any emotion I wanted to on the green grass. When I got to the brown of the mound, I let everything wash away and get back to business. And right now he's still suffering from a call that could have and probably should have been made but wasn't. And if he doesn't get himself back to thinking correctly, it's going to cost him.
But now the danger on 3-0 as you groove one to Profar, who's got 21 doubles. And he missed again. Ball 4. Bases loaded, 2 out.
And Don Cooper is going to have to come out, because this is where, and Don's a terrific pitching coach, and this is the message that he's going to give to Carlos Rodon. Now, it could very well be that he's going to wait on the mound until Joe West comes walking to the mound to break it up. If that's the case, he'll have a word or two with Joe, nothing to get him thrown out, but something to maybe remind him that there is an inside corner on the plate. And sometimes pitching coaches will do that. So he's going to wait around, and we'll see how long Joe West gives him before he comes out there. Now he's walking out, so it'll be interesting to see if Don Cooper will express a bit of a displeasure with that call.
Here comes Joe.
Well, he waited purposely, and Don he's got a word or two to say to Joe. Again, not going to get thrown out, but Don had the intention of going out there and waiting until Joe West came out so he could have a word with him.
I think if I'm reading lips properly, I think Coop just said, I just want to say hello to you.
And isn't it hot out here, Joe? You could rush this game along a bit by calling a few more strikes if you'd like.
Average temperature declines with every out.
But I think the message that Don Cooper gave Carlos Rodon was get back to business now.
Robinson Chirinos, who grounded out the first time, takes a called strike.
The lobby worked.
Big Coop.
That's it.
A powerful lobby. Mazzara at third, Odor at second, Profar at first. Rocked down the right field side toward the corner, and that is a fair ball and will give the Rangers the lead. They scored 3 times on the double from Chirinos.
.34 driven in by Robinson Chirinos as he takes it down the line.
There are 2 components to this inning. Number 1, Profar should never have hit. Number 2, Carlos Rodon, once that ship has sailed, could have righted himself a little quicker.
Well, Carlos is still at the early stages of his career. And although the stuff is there of an established major league pitcher, the innings in the major leagues are not at this point. So he's going to learn, hopefully sooner rather than later, that feeling of anger that he has, you've got to wash it away somehow, and that every pitch is a world unto itself, and you need 100% of your concentration on each and every pitch. And I'll explain to you later about why you do that.
And it's not to say he's wrong. He's definitely right. That was a strike. He should have been out of the inning, but there are adjustments as well. The Rangers take the lead. You pick first. Which guy do you want, the left pitcher or the right pitcher? We don't get to see what we're buying.
Well, it looks to me like it's a no-brainer to pick the guy on the left, but I have a feeling that for Chris Kampka, that's the early stages of a guy's career who was absolutely wonderful after that pedestrian 69 and 57 record. So I will go with the guy on the right and give you the 90 and 52 guy.
I got the guy with the 300 more walks.
Well, absolutely.
It's a lot of base runners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're okay.
Thank you.
You're going to be just fine.
We'll see who we bought later on. Sox trailing by 2. And Carlos Rodon frustrated during the break. You could see the emotion pouring out as he went into the dugout, and rightfully so. I mean, he was right. He threw strike 3, didn't get the call, and then the Rangers capitalized. But whether emotion is rightful and productive can be two different things on the mound, is what you're saying, right?
Absolutely. Give yourself any emotion you want in the dugout.
Ball smoked to third. Profar's on the case, and a bullet for out number 1. All right, so here's Rodon into the dugout.
Yeah, he's very unhappy with himself. Throwing the glove, okay, I can go for that. There's no problem. Want to rip up your hat, you can do that too, but doesn't look like he might have kicked over a water cooler a little later on, and you gotta be really careful with parts of your body that you use to do your job, as we found out with Hunter Strickland.
Yes.
And was the closer of the Giants, who broke his hand punching a wall.
The wall typically is the victor. As there's out number 2, Avi flies out to DeShields. All right, let's take a look at the swap meet. DeShields says, okay, let's go ahead and do that. I got the guy on the left, you got the guy on the right. What does Kampka have in store for us from the back room of the swap meet today? What?
2 of Bartolo Colon before turning 30.
I see.
And then after turning 40. Still pretty good both ways. The ERA is almost identical. That's the interesting part about this.
Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
How about that? Young and old Bartolo Colon. It was a Bartolo BOGO at the swap meet.
And you get to take him home years ago, and you get to take him home now.
Chopped foul by Garcia. I mean, it just looks so simple for him. Get it? Not a lot of movement. Throw it. But he's 2 different pitchers. And there you see the wins by team. That's 11 different teams with a victory.
Yeah, he was a blazer with the Indians. I mean, throwing consistently 100 miles an hour, could go 150 pitches into each and every game. The Angels still throwing hard, and then progressively things got a little less of the fastball, a little more of the deception. The thing that he always had, even when he was a blazer, he had pinpoint control. That was what made him the pitcher he's been all these years.
Oh, and 2. Second base and Rougned Odor. For out number 3. Chuck Garfien in 72-degree temperatures has an update after this. Winston-Salem game. Gavin Sheets with 3 hits. He's now on a 14-game hit streak. Go Deeks. Gavin playing essentially at his college home for the summer. He's at Winston-Salem, went to Wake Forest, so a lot of his college buddies are still in the area, so it's kind of like an extension of college for him. That ball's vaulted to right. Garcia is back on it. Rua takes it up and out. So the trickle down from the fourth extends to the fifth.
That fastball was right down the middle, and Rua hits his fourth home run, just his seventh driven in. Fourth home run replay. Carlos got a pretty good idea. This is up in the wind tunnel, which is right in right center field, and when it gets up there, it routinely goes into the bullpen.
Seven in a row retired to start the game, and now Rodon sees the Rangers up 5-2 in the fifth. Carlos still in this game does not have a swinging strike on his fastball. All four of his swinging strikes have come on the slider tonight. Popped it up. Yoan Moncada, Avi Garcia, and Garcia makes the catch for out number one. Here's your Sox math winner for tonight. It's Riles 23. 3 outs for Davidson. One time he's pitched 3 times. 1 is 3. And there you have it. You can win a bottle of water from here in the Rangers press box if we don't drink it by the end of the night, which we will.
Not a cold one, because it warms up pretty quickly up here, but a bottle of water nonetheless.
If you've never been to Texas, here's how it works. You're indoors in your hotel or family's house or whatever it might be, and you walk outside and you are greeted with what feels like the power of an oven directly into you. Immediately you feel the heat overwhelm you. About the same play. This one's Moncada's though, and 2 gone. Head to the ballpark. Dollar Hot Dog Wednesdays. Take advantage of this unbeatable deal. Wednesday, July 11th. Sox take on the Cardinals. It's at 7:10 p.m. It's brought to you by Securian Financial, who can help you make every moment count. Find out more at Securian.com. Good crowd tonight.
Very nice crowd. I wonder how many will turn around and be here for the day game tomorrow.
Gonna guess they'll mostly be concentrated in the shade. Moncada throws out Mazzara. Leadoff home run for Rua has the Rangers up 3 in the Lone Star State. Ricky, it's a choose your own adventure today. You get to pick the question you want to answer. How about that? Your best hitting pitcher you've ever seen, or best pitching position player you've ever seen as a player or coach or manager?
That's a great question. I think that you've answered it with Matty Davidson. Since he threw last night, did a very nice job. And I would say Ohtani now seems to be the best pitcher that that happens to hit. Where Matty is our best position player that happens to pitch.
So Matt Davidson is on the list.
He's on the list.
Wow. Congratulations to Matt. Ricky, thank you.
You got it.
High praise from Ricky Renteria. Never saw Babe Ruth do what he does as Davidson hits this ball well, right center field to the wall. Gone! What a series for Matt Davidson. A double, a home run, and a 1-2-3 inning.
That one in the perfect spot to hit it, and even though it's in excess of 400 feet to that area, no problems clearing it as Matt goes opposite field. His 14th home run of the year. He's driven in 33, our Ford home run replay, and this was an off-speed pitch. He just waited back and got most of it. So I would think that Jeff Bannister probably got what he wanted out of Bartolo Colon and wants him to leave with the lead, wants to go to that bullpen, and he got into the 6th inning, and that's going to be it for Bartolo.
5+, 7 hits, his own round of applause. Davidson zaps him on the way out. 5-3 your score. There goes the glove. Do you want it back? Let's see. The drama of Bartolo and his glove. Debo retrieves it. He deserves that round.
Lakeside Bank call to the pen. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. It's about time for Jesse Chavez to come in the ballgame on for the 25th time. He's 3-1, former starter, and using some interesting night glasses. ERA of 3 1/4. See 46 strikeouts in 49 2/3 innings. He's a side-wheeling right-hander with very good control. Only 10 walks in close to 50 innings. And Matt Davidson can pitch, can hit, can run, can do it all.
Profar at third for round number 1, and with Davidson's home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. Nicky Delmonico on the bench spent a portion of his pregame deciding what to wear on the bench. It was between that and a spring training hooded sweatshirt, kind of like we saw Bartolo Colon wearing yesterday. He had the hood up
Yes,
while he was on the bench. And Nicky has changed that fashion a little bit. He's cut off the sleeves from his spring training hooded sweatshirt to make it essentially a hooded sweatshirt vest.
I think if he cut off the sleeves and the hood, as well as maybe part of the front, it would look pretty good here in Texas, and again later in the road trip in Houston.
This was a major debate for Nicky before the game. What do I wear on the bench? The hope is we'll see him soon in the lineup. He decided on short sleeves because he said it was too hot. Although Bartolo Colon, the veteran he is, was wearing the sweatshirt with full sleeves in yesterday's game, so it's definitely doable. As Chavez strikes out Narvaez, and 2 down in the 6th.
See that fastball from where he throws it, it almost looks like it's rising. It really isn't, but because he's got that low 3/4 almost sidearm delivery to the left-handers, the ball seems to just go up, and he threw a couple of high fastballs by Omar.
Two down for Engel, who's given the ball a ride a bunch in this series, and this one stroked up the middle, a base hit. Adam with his 3rd hit in the last 2 days.
Didn't wait around, just jumped on a first ball fastball, took it right back up the middle. Chavez, when he gets it down, is fairly hittable. If he keeps it up, it becomes a little more difficult.
Ball was on the hunt for Doug Eddings, the second base umpire. Throw behind Engel, and he's back.
And it looked to me like Chirinos might have hit Moncada. I think he either got the bat or the helmet as he tried to go behind him. Usually catchers have this one already in mind, but see right there, he just whacks him, and I think it got some of the bat.
Boy, you hate when that batter sneaks up on you.
Well, the batter is entitled to the batter's box.
Yeah.
So that was all on Chirinos, and I think he's going to throw to first here.
Yeah, Chirinos isn't ready to catch anything.
Nope. Usually when a catcher, as we looked in at him, when a catcher gives you a sign where he just uses his thumb, that is throw to first base. Used to have some other connotations, but now it's throw to first base.
You're saying hypothetically when you'd want to protect one of your players.
Yeah.
Again, you didn't do it.
No, I would never do that.
Somebody else would have, though.
Yeah. And Chirinos now is looking at his chart to see exactly how they want to throw to Moncada.
High fastball, and he popped it up. Third base side profile. Sox draw a little bit closer. The two-way star, Matt Davidson, opposite way. Right center field to the wall. 5-3. Back to Arlington, where the Sox trail by 2, and Carlos Rodon sends ball number 1 to Adrian Beltre. Left side base hit. We wish a happy birthday to the AAA skipper in the White Sox farm system, Manfred, who turns 48 today. Happy birthday to Mark.
Very good player. With Manfred, I have no doubt he will be and is a very good manager.
He, by the way, was 3 for 14 in his career against Bartolo Colon. Who was the starter tonight for the Rangers? If you just joined us, Sox got him for 3 runs in 5+ innings. But he did navigate through major trouble in the first 3 innings. The Sox stranded 6, including the bases loaded in the second. Ball and a strike on Odor. Strikeout and a walk for him tonight.
Kind of surprised, although he's shown bunt once, he hasn't executed one yet. And the ideal thing with a left-hander on the mound is to drag it up the right side.
There's 79 pitches so far for Carlos Rodon. He threw 99 last time against Oakland in that 8-inning gem to the victory on Sunday. Three and 1 to Rougned Odor. Beltre at first. Boy, the Red Sox cleaned out the Yankees today, 11-0.
Chris Sale was absolutely brilliant, gave up just 1 hit. Did a magnificent job against a very good team, laden with right-handers.
Laser right field side, and just foul. Well, the Red Sox made one of those trades that you don't necessarily blink at if you're not watching closely, but they traded for Steve Pearce in an effort to hit left-handed pitching better. Not that that's going to open up the floodgates for the trade market, but we've seen some moves earlier on this year than even close to the deadline.
Well, Pearce is a pretty good hitter, a very aggressive hitter, and can hit fastballs from lefties.
That's popped up right side of the infield. Abreu bails, Moncada with the catch. And time now for the White Sox Farm Report. It's presented by Guaranteed Rate. Matt Rose, bases loaded against the Jackson Generals, and it is gonzo. A grand slam for Matt Rose. He has 11 home runs in Double-A this year, his first portion of a season in Double-A. 11 homers, 9 doubles. And the slugging percentage growing with that slam. He was part of the trade with the Cubs for Jose Quintana. So with Juan Minaya loosening and 84 pitches for Carlos Rodon, we'll see when the Sox decide to deploy that bullpen, which has been somewhat taxed recently. Volstad yesterday, 58 pitches, Minaya 16. Hector Santiago 2 days ago threw 46, and the reason the Sox stayed away from Cedeno and Avilan especially yesterday was Avilan had thrown 3 straight days, Cedeno 2 straight, and 34 pitches combined in those 2.
And there's the pitching line of Carlos Rodon. Very tough through the first 3, had some problems in the 4th, and gave up a leadoff home run in the 5th.
That's a called strike, no need to appeal. Profar trying to reconcile that. One and 2. Breaks in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sox and Rangers will play again tomorrow. Official start time is 2:05 right here on NBC Sports Chicago. Then the Sox will be off to Cincinnati for 3 and Houston for 4 on a 10-day road trip before coming home to close out the quote-unquote first half against St. Louis and Kansas City. (3-2) in the air, short center field, long run for Engel, that gets down.
Center field, with this wind, the ball can get batted down. It's not near what it's like in right center field. Is this ball, well, left the bat, looked like it might get to Adam, but dropped in front of him, and here comes Ricky. That's going to be it for Carlos tonight. So Manaea's going to come in the game as Carlos Rodon exits. And as he walks out, we'll step out. Be back after these messages. Is Juan Manaea. On for the 15th time. Lately he's been very busy. 0-2 record, 4.5 ERA. So he inherits a couple of base runners here in the bottom of the 6th inning. A 2-run lead for the Rangers, and Manaea hoping to hold it right there.
Last 10 of those appearances, his ERA is 2.45, so Manaea has shown improvement. Carlos Rodon, 5 1/3, 6 hits, runs yet to be decided. And the fateful 4th inning, when he thought he had Rougned Odor struck out, Joe West did not give him the call. Odor walked, Profar walked on 4, and then Robinson Chirinos, this guy, had the big hit of the ball game so far, a 3-run double. Beltre at second, Profar at first. Ground ball foul from Robinson Chirinos, who's driven in 6 on 2 hits in the series. And then the 3 before that with 6 as well to make that gaudy 12.
Not a great hitter, but a dangerous hitter, especially on fastballs middle in.
Omar saves a couple of bases. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That one almost took the left arm out of the socket as he reached way across to make sure that that one did not go to the wall.
Ball and a strike. A time called. Manaya actually has reverse splits this year. Lefties are under 120 against him. Right-handers above 260.
Largely because of that splitter, which has actually been a good one this year.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 as he buried it. First strikeout for Sox pitching since the 2nd inning.
That was a good splitter. I mean, that one just disappeared out of the zone. And Chirinos swung over the top. Look at the late movement of that one.
Two down, 2 on. Joey Gallo, who swings at nearly half of the first pitches he sees. Careful on this release. He fouled it away.
That was not a fastball. That was a cutter. He was trying to hit the outside corner, but it's the only way to combat a hitter who's guessing fastball each and every pitch, but especially the first pitch.
Ball and a strike. Manaya to Gallo, 24 years old, out of Nevada. The dude, when he hits the ball, he hits it real hard. Second base, Moncada in the shift. Retires Gallo, and Rodon appreciates the work from Juan Manaya. Still 5-3 to the 7th.
Now on NBC Sports Chicago, watch the White Sox #1 prospect Eloy Jimenez and the Charlotte Knights take on Gwinnett. Coverage begins at 7, or you can stream the game on the NBC Sports app.
Some people claim that there's a woman to blame.
Shoot.
And I know it is Yolmer's fault that this ball ends up on the grass. Tying run comes up with Jose Abreu as the ball gets away, but Yolmer is back into first.
A couple of hits for Yolmer tonight to go with his sacrifice fly, so very productive reemergence into the starting lineup.
Takes him a while to get all the equipment off.
I don't blame him.
So 1 on for Abreu, who's got a couple of home runs in his career against Jesse Chavez. Ball 1.
Ranger bullpen up and going.
Jose lets 94 go by near the knees, 1-1. Well, Barnett was up earlier. Kella, the closer, has been outstanding this year. When he's had a save chance, he has converted it.
The back end of the pen with Leclerc and Kella lately has been close to unhittable.
There's the left-hander Jake Diekman.
There's a very good chance that Diekman will be out of a Texas uniform by the trade deadline. There's a lot of folks looking for quality left-handers.
That is called a ball.
Well, the pitch before was borderline. That one had the whole plate, so Jose is still at bat, which is the major factor here. Pretty good pitch, and Jose gets the benefit of that call.
Jose thought he was out.
Yeah, I believe he did, but then he casually, after starting to go, he casually cinches up the gloves and goes back to hitting.
Oh boy, Odor, Andrews, and 2.
Now that Odor has tightened up the defense, he makes a good double play partner with Andrus coming across the bag.
Jesse Chavez a little fired up.
I think he was pretty happy with that. Heart of the order coming up in a 2-run game with a leadoff single. You got to be real happy with a double play taking you to this point.
One strike on Avi. A lot of balls in play tonight. Combined for both teams, just 7 strikeouts, 4 walks, and in this current age of baseball, that's a low number. Inside. Couldn't get around on it at 94, 2-2. Bartolo Colon, 5 innings plus a batter, 3 earned runs, gave up 7 hits, walked 2, struck 2 out. Chavez, the first reliever for the Rangers, and the 2-2 hit well by Garcia, left center field, and gone. It cleared the wall. It's a 1-run game, 5-4.
Chavez threw the last fastball and beat Avi on it and decided to come back with another one, and it cost him a home run. The 4th this year by Avi. He's driven in 9. And this game got a whole lot more interesting as this one disappears over the wall. The Ford home run replay. Avi gets most of it. And line drives like this, any part of the ballpark, go out.
Off the bat at nearly 109. Garcia center field to Shields, and this will be 5-4 at stretch time in Arlington. Avi pierces the ball for a home run in a 1-run game. Manage your tickets, enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. And let's go to another MLB ballpark around Major League Baseball. And he hasn't had much time in the major leagues this year, so Keon Broxton made the most of it in Cincinnati at Great American Ballpark. Dinger onto the pull side. Dinger, Oppo with a high bounce. And now this, the rundown to beat all rundowns. He's coming home. He's down on the ground. He's back to third without a hat. He's safe. Throw goes into second base. He bolts for the plate. Throw back to the plate is tremendously poor, and Milwaukee gets a run.
Quite a rundown.
Oh, yeah. Not terribly well executed.
Well, they did get one out.
They did.
Not the one they wanted to get, but they got an out.
Glass half full, Stone. Strikes
That's
again.
It. I told you.
Even when it's 5-6 full. Ryan Rua is 1 for 2, and Juan Minaya sends in a strike. Minaya got 2 outs in the 6th. The strikeout of Chirinos and a ground ball from Gallo. He came in with 2 on and 1 out.
Sox fan up and going, just in case Juan has some problems.
He drops in strike 2. Looks like the confidence is growing for Juan Minaya.
His stuff just looks a lot better, and it was inexplicable where he just completely lost his control. This is the guy last year with 9 of 10 quality saves, and you know, it's 90%. It's still really good, and he was throwing all strikes as he did right there.
Got it onto the corner, a breaking ball to finish off Rua.
And earlier this year, he just completely lost command of the strike zone. But now he's aggressive. He's throwing strikes with everything. The splitter and the slider very good. And now Jeff Bannister coming out to have a word with.
He just threw out Rua.
Yeah. Well, I can't see Rua complaining about the last pitch. It had the middle of the strike zone.
Jeff's thinking it over. And he leaves. The magic word.
Yep, that was it.
Oh, and a look. A glare.
Well, that's automatic. I mean, you just say that one and you probably have had enough for tonight. Go take a shower and enjoy yourself because you're not playing anymore.
And that is what it is. Rua is out. And Delino DeShields is the batter.
Now you do have to watch the bunt. With that in mind, Abreu and Sanchez in very close to the corners.
Anderson has it go under his glove. Don't know that he was going to get DeShields anyway with his speed.
Now that's a base hit all the way. This is a very hard and very fast infield. One of the fastest infields in baseball. This will be interesting because you've got, I think, Jace Fry loosening up. And you've got a stolen base threat, the #1 stolen base threat on this team with Manaea on the hill.
And he's been accurate in his decisions on when to steal. Career high by far, 88%.
Well, he's going to go in this situation. The only question is on which pitch.
Throw to first, gets away. He's going to go right now. And that ends up out of play. DeShields to second base.
Luis Avilan is a left-hander loosening in the pen. But at this point, you still have to take a couple of looks back at DeShields because he likes to steal third also. That's been charged E1. Let's take another look at it. I don't know about E1, but that's how it's scored.
2-0 on Andrews. DeShields this year is one of the top guys in baseball with 5 attempted steals of third, as you were talking about. He's 3 for 5. Whit Merrifield has stolen third base 9 times this year.
It's pretty amazing. Amazing how good he is at stealing bases.
DeShields runs, and he is there, and he's going to score if he realizes the ball's in left field. Now he does. Garcia's throw is late, and it's a run all on the wheels of DeShields.
Well, you know he's going, and the thing is, you got to knock down that ball at third. DeShields scores rather easily. Once he picks up the ball, it was Tony Beasley screaming to get up because you score easily, and he's got some make-up speed. They're not going to get him at third base. And Yomer went for the one-hand pick. That's one you got to knock down because you're not going to get the out. You just have to keep it out of left field.
Tony Beasley is one of the most soft-spoken people in baseball. He's a genuinely nice, kind soul. He doesn't yell at anybody very much at all. And he was barking at DeShields.
Well, he got right up in his grill and said, go get him. The run's there.
There's a strike on Elvis Andrews.
This one pretty much gift wrapped for the Rangers.
But there's a window into what speed does if you lean on the opponent.
Yep.
You force those throws. Sometimes there are mistakes as Andrews is down. 2 out. And it will be lefty-lefty. Ricky Renteria is out of the dugout to wave for Luis Avila. So the Sox got a run in the 7th inning on the Avi home run, but that has evaporated on the couple of errors and the stolen base. 6-4 your score with 2 down in the 7th. White Sox into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1.
Our late side bank call to the pen. It is Luis Avila. He inherits the bases clean. And out for the 37th time. 3 3/4 on the ERA, a 2-0 record. And he's got to deal with Nomar Mazara.
Mazara's 1 for 3. He scored a run in the 4th inning, that 3-run 4th that pivoted the game into the Rangers column. It was 2-1 Sox at that point. Sox scored twice in the 2nd inning. Avilan to Mazara. And a breaking ball for strike 1. Oh, 2. Beltre had to duck in the on deck circle. Oh, 2. It's lined hard and foul. That was not a bad pitch. Mazara smoked him.
He had 2 very good at bats against Carlos Rodon, who's no day at the beach for left-handers. Lined out in the 1st inning, ringing base hit in the 4th inning before grounding out in the 5th.
Former basketball player in his youth, Nomar Mazara. You can kind of see it in the body type why he would be a good basketball player. Dad told him to quit, though. Said, you're playing baseball.
Dad was right.
One, 2. In the dirt. Couple of balls, couple of strikes on Mazara. to Shields with a single, and then a foray around the bases to score. Looped to shortstop, and Tim collects it for out number 3. Unearned run doubles the lead for the homestanding Rangers. By Xfinity, and this replay is of Matt Davidson. Crush it. Oppo to the corner for a double early on in this game. That was in the 2nd inning, and then whack. Home run. Number 14 to lead the team for Matt Davidson. The two-way start for the White Sox, who threw the 8th inning yesterday, and now Matt will face a new pitcher for the Texas Rangers, the left-hander Jake Diekman.
Diekman's been pretty good this year after the 35th time. Been called on to save 3 games, been successful twice, a 1-1 record, an ERA, and .386, but 35 strikeouts in 28 innings. What a lot of teams are looking for is a power arm out of the bullpen from the left side, and Jake Diekman is one of those. So Carlos Tocci comes in the ball game.
Rua ejected.
And dejected.
He will rue the day that he argued with Joe West.
Not usually a good plan.
There's a strike called on Davidson. Jake Diekman, who has been through some medical trials in the past. He dealing with ulcerative colitis, had a portion of his colon removed in 2016. Also had a cut on his finger that kept him out for a while later on that year, but the Rangers were extremely tolerant of the injury and the medical situation and let him come back whenever he felt good enough to do so. But you deal with the medical difficulties like that, and it's a non-baseball ailment, and you're just happy that you're on the mound and you got it back.
Boy, it's a tough one to come back from. There is Jose Leclerc, who's on a terrific run lately, throwing it as well as he's thrown it during the course of his career, and along with Kella, that's a formidable duo at the back end.
Two and two. Davidson hits it well to shortstop and past Andrews.
That was a bullet. If Andrews did have any time to get in front of it, it was a fraction of a second, and playing it off to the side on that hop, he had no chance. That is a base hit.
So now you've got Anderson against the left-hander Diekman, and Andrews replaying that in his mind. And ball number 1. So Diekman just 11 games in 2017 after he had that procedure done. It was very early last year, not late 2016. And good to see him back on the mound, but the Sox are trying to come back against the left-hander. 1-0. And a check swing foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Kind of surprised we're not seeing Leclerc in this game.
Yeah. Especially against Tim, who is.
I was going to say, you're not going to pinch hit for Anderson. We're pretty much assured of that.
In the air and playable to Shields. Showing the wear and tear of that run around the bases for out number 1 as we go into Sox history for today, this final day of June. And if Nick Swisher could duplicate this right now, the Sox would be at the very least tied. Home runs from both sides of the plate against the Indians 10 years ago today. Got the big poster.
Pretty amazing to me that was 10 years ago. I mean, I know where I was. What, you were 12, so where were you?
I was 24. Thank you for asking. Narvaez takes ball 1. Yeah, that's a knee slapper, huh? Uh-huh. Davidson at first. On 1-0. Omar takes ball 2.
Now you're pretty well assured you're going to get a fastball. The only question for Narvaez is it going to be in the spot he's looking? He likes the ball away most of the time. He will pull the ball, but he's looking middle out, and that's where this fastball should be.
2-0. That's inside. 3 balls, no strikes. Diekman thought he had a strike, but according to our pitch cast, that was ball 3.
Yeah, that one wasn't all that close.
Toyota has it at a ball. We have it as a ball. That is a strike. Wind blowing the dirt around and time called. Looked like Omar got some dirt in his eye, actually. Really howling right now.
The wind is very brisk. Talking with their broadcasters, they said that the last couple of days has been the stiffest the wind has been in quite some time here.
That's a strike. 3-2.
Literally exact same pitch as the pitch before.
Three-two. That's called ball 4. The Sox will take it. 2 on, 1 out for Adam Engel.
And Diekman can't believe it. That ball had the whole plate. Brocail talks with Bannister. Quite possibly the glove of Chirinos took that out of the zone. But the end result is the tying runs on base.
Not a word exchanged between Diekman and Bannister. Diekman frustrated with the call to the bullpen deeper for the Rangers. Sox have a rally brewing here in the 8th.
On NBC Sports Chicago, coverage begins at 1:30 with the White Sox pregame live, and you can stream the game on the NBC Sports app.
New pitcher for Texas, right, Steve?
Yes, it is. Time for the Lakeside Bank call to the pen. And the tying runs on base as Jose Leclerc comes on for the 31st time. He's 2-2. That ERA steadily going down at below 2.5, and 39 big strikeouts in 29 innings. However, his control has not been great, and maybe that will come into play.
He's going to face the left-hander Daniel Palka, pinch hitting for Adam Engel. So Palka, who generally, when he is on the bench to start the game, comes in the high leverage spot. The power, his greatest asset. 2 on, 1 out, and a breaking ball, strike 1. Leclerc does not throw many curveballs, but he unleashed one there.
Well, he knows, and the scouting report says that Polka is first ball fastball, and if you throw it, he's going to take a good rip.
There's that good changeup from Leclerc, 0-2.
That really is his pitch. I mean, he's a lot like Fernando Rodney in that respect. He's got a very good fastball, but he's got close to an unhittable change if he gets it near the zone.
Oh-2. He struck him out. Not a fastball to be seen. 2 gone.
It went breaking ball, it went changeup, it went breaking ball, and that was it for the at bat. Whether you call that a curve or a slider, it was pretty much a downer, and certainly a downer for Daniel Palka.
It's up to Yohan Moncada, whose base hit came on the first pitch of tonight's game against Bartolo Colon. Called strike 1. That's unhittable.
You can't swing at it because you can't go out there and get it, and it stayed wide of the plate, but he's in a hole.
One ball, 1 strike. Leclerc bidding to get 2 outs in a key spot without throwing a fastball. One ball, 1 strike. Leclerc to Moncada. Ball nearly found its way into the zone. 2-1.
Fortunately, he stayed up high, and that was a hanger.
The baby-faced right-hander Jose Leclerc. Two and 1. Off speed, 2-2.
He looks intent not to throw a fastball, but you got to sit on the fastball, try to adjust on down, because you can't look for that breaking ball. It's too good. You can't look for the straight change because you can't read it out of his hand.
So if he throws a strike, you're in trouble.
You've got to try to adjust and hope that he rolls it or hangs it.
2-2. Called strike 3, 96. 2 of those were off the plate. Moncada doesn't like it. We'll go bottom 8. Pinch hit for with Daniel Palka. Charlie into the outfield, and Luis Avilan remains in to face Adrian Beltre in the 8th. That's ball 1 from Avilan. Beltre 31.06 now in the hit column with his 6th inning single. He made his debut at 19 years of age.
It's hung around a long time. And Bruce Rondon throwing in the pen.
Into center field, a base hit. We were talking about this earlier. If you've never seen it, here it is. Adrian Beltre, who was ejected from a game because he was arguing about where the on-deck circle needed to be. Jerry Davis said, you need to be in the on-deck circle. So Adrian said, okay, I will be. I'm going to stand on it right here.
And he gave him the boot.
See, I think that's just fun.
I do too.
You do?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, which is what, 2nd time this year?
And back-to-back days, in fact. So we're on a streak.
I think it's the heat.
I think so. Delirium setting in.
Wait till tomorrow afternoon.
Rougned Odor, the batter. And ball 1. I mean, Adrian Beltre plays this game with so much happiness. That's just a fun way to show frustration about the rules. And if you're not allowed to do that, then it's going to lead to more anger and more altercations. And there's a conversation today in Cincinnati about the benches clearing situation they had with Milwaukee. Joey Votto was talking to Eric Kratz at home plate yesterday, I think it was, and the bench is cleared. And both Kratz and Votto said there was no reason for that. We had one earlier this year too with the Sox involving Tim Anderson, where there was really no reason for the benches to clear. And the Cincinnati clubhouse especially seemed to suggest that they would be in favor, Riggleman and Votto and a couple others, they'd be in favor of the hockey rule where if you leave the bench you get suspended.
I proposed that to you about a month and a half ago. You have the 3rd man in rule, and if you have that, you're not going to see any more fights. It's going to be as easy as that. No more fights. If you come in, you get suspended. You can pick out the time you want to get suspended. I mean, whatever they can get. But nobody is going to come in and join whatever argument there is. They've had that ability for a long time, but nobody has stepped up and said, you know what, that would be good to stop injuries, because they're trying to do whatever they can do now to keep the stars in the game. And most of the guys that get injured in these altercations are guys from the periphery, guys coming in from the bullpen, guys coming out from the dugout, as opposed to the combatants on the field. And you got 4 umpires to break up 2 guys. You can do that pretty easily.
That's a strike. 3-2. You have more and more players when those situations develop, like Jesus Aguilar for Milwaukee. He just went to find a buddy to stand there and pair up and talk to somebody to make sure that he wasn't affected negatively by the whole thing. Nobody really wants to be out there, except for maybe the first 2 people who ran out there.
That's it. The 2 people that are engaged in whatever argument they're having.
Interesting to have that conversation, of course, here in Arlington after what happened in 1993.
It's before my time.
Between the oldest player to ever suit up for the Rangers and the former 3rd baseman for the White Sox.
Yeah.
Three balls and 2 strikes on Rougned Odor. It's time to party at the park this season. From a pregame patio to the fan deck, White Sox party areas are perfect for hosting groups of 10 to 1,000. For more information, 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. Sox will be back home for 2 against St. Louis and 3 with the Royals before the All-Star break. That's after a lengthy slog through Texas, Ohio, and Texas again. Right side, Moncada can't get there.
That is ruled a base hit. In this ballpark, if you don't have a good angle on it, you're probably not going to get to it because this is almost like an artificial surface. That's how quick it is. Doesn't rain here too often. It's rock hard dirt, and they keep the grass shaved very close in the infield, so it is quick.
And the Sox are going to go deeper into the bullpen. Avilan for 3 batters, 1 out, 2 hits. And so we'll step away. The Rangers lead 6-4. Big Bruce trying to keep it right there. Visiting Athletico.com to request your complimentary injury screening and have your pain or injury assessed by our experts for free. Athletico, the official physical therapy provider of the Chicago White Sox. Athletico, better for everybody.
It's our Lakeside Bank call to the pen. And it is Bruce Rondon, and he's got some problems. 2 on, nobody out. Trying to keep that deficit right where it is at a pair. On for the 30th time. ERA devilish.
Well, it's Avilan who comes out to Ring of Fire. He just left. 2 on. Those are his property. And Profar, the batter.
Wind kicking up in his eyes also.
And Omar lets it go. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out.
Probably going to be a pass ball, you would expect. Tips off the end of the glove, and now the infield has to come in, making it really a hitter's delight.
Two and 0. That's a strike, 2-1. Two one. Odor at second, Beltre at third. Hit hard into right field, in trouble. It's going to score 2. Throw comes into second base, and it's offline. A double for Profar, and it's 8-4 Texas.
Profar now with 44 driven in. He's having a nice year. 2 for 3 tonight. And this is a big base hit. Has to draw it in infield, and after the pass ball, when you bring him in, there's just no angles at all, and Jose cannot get to it. He was playing shallow at first base, and it caused a pair.
Two in, one on, Robinson Chirinos. There have been some strange games in this ballpark, high-scoring games in recent memory. And the Sox, who had an ERA sub-4 in the 4-game series against the Rangers back at Guaranteed Rate Field, have seen 19 runs crossed the last 2 nights. Well, these two make it more difficult. It was Sanchez, Abreu, and Garcia, and the hope was you get somebody on for Jose in the 9th, and he can try and change the game. But at 8-4, that neutralizes his ability to do so. Two and one on Robinson Chirinos. Rangers got 1 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th, an unearned run, and now 2 more in this 8th inning. Profar at second. On the ground, left of the mound, Rondon can't make the play. They're at the corners.
It's going to go as a base hit. Pulling up the mound to the first base side, and no chance on the bare hand.
Hit number 11 for the Rangers. Sox and Rangers each with 11 hits in the game. But Texas has capitalized with 8 runs. And here is Joey Gallo.
And with nobody up in the pen, it's Bruce against the world.
Joey Gallo with a home run already tonight. It came off his bat at 111 miles an hour. This is entering today, so he added to this. He was the leader in 110+ mile an hour exit velocity home runs. Mazzara third. And Joey Gallo, when he hits it, he demolishes the baseball. Ball that Gallo hit is the hardest hit ball of this game so far. Second place was Avi Garcia's home run. 2-1 to Gallo. Massive cut, 2-2. Two balls, two strikes. Well, I was talking to Don Cooper earlier today, and he's been in a situation at points this season where he's had to call very early on his bullpen. He and Ricky Renteria have. And there are two things you play for on a given night. Number one, you play to win that game, and then number two, you do have to have it in the back of your mind what you're doing for tomorrow. As there's ball four, and you mentioned nobody warming up in the bullpen. Part of that is the fact that the Sox bullpen was taxed already yesterday, forcing Matt Davidson to pitch. So Rondon needs to get you a couple outs if you're Don Cooper.
Well, not only that, but the day before was a 13-inning game where the bullpen was worked even harder. So there's only so many miles in the arms down there, and sometimes, as Don Cooper is explaining to Bruce right there, look, you better get somebody out because you're in here until the cows come home, and we don't know when they're coming. So start throwing some strikes.
Well, Matt Davidson's the dugout. We have visual evidence of that. That was a situation where, as Ricky Renteria said before the game, he would much rather not have to pitch Matt Davidson. However, if you can get the outs that he got and protect your bullpen, it ends up being worth it. Some people might see it as a give up of the game, but when you're down that many runs, you have to think about tomorrow. Baseball is such a long season. Tomorrow matters.
And look, before September, where you're going to open up your 40-man roster, have a lot more people in your bullpen, when you've got just 25 and you've had an extra inning game and then a long game last night, you got to do extraordinary things, and one of them is allow Matt Davidson to pick up an inning. I see nothing wrong with it. Plus, on an otherwise dismal night, it created some levity for the boys.
Well, his magical splitter that he threw.
Yep, it was a good one.
This spot previously occupied by Rua, who was ejected. Maybe the most interesting part of Matt Davidson's night was his walk off the mound when he began sprinting toward the dugout and then realized after a couple steps that that's not what pitchers do. Stuck his hand out as a parking brake and slowed himself down. One and two from Rondon. Two balls, two strikes, 20 pitches for Bruce. 4 hits and a walk so far in the inning against Avilan and Rondon. In the dirt and blocked, 3-2. Rangers offense has been electric recently, and that has carried over into this series and then some. Double-digit hits each of the last 2 nights. Payoff pitch. That's high ball 4. A run comes home. First one charged to Rondon. And for Carlos, his first career RBI. Congratulations to him. He joins, I'm sure, a short list of people who have their first career RBI on a bases loaded walk.
It's Steve Buechele, the first base coach, with some words of advice.
Do you get the base?
Don't get picked off.
Can they just give him the base?
They can.
Maybe he can have Joe West's clicker, his pitch counter. Todd Cooper would rather not be using the phone right now.
No, but there's some stirring in the Sox pen. Perhaps with the thought of a day game tomorrow.
There's a strike, 0-2, and Chase Fry is loosening. On the grounded foul from DeShields. Two o'clock start tomorrow. Cole Hamels for the Rangers, Reynaldo Lopez for the Sox.
Good pitching matchup.
Yes, it is. Cole Hamels may once again draw some interest.
Well, I think he's going to be very well sought after.
In the air, right center, and playable for Tilson. Into the gap. Robinson Chirino scores. And the Rangers add another. It's 10-4.
First one batted in tonight by DeShields, 16th of the year.
Now Elvis Andrus, who is literally the Lone Ranger starter, who has not collected a hit tonight.
Clayton Moore of the bunch.
1-0. Touched foul. This is the official beginning of the second half of the season. Game number 82. Even though you claim that the All-Star break is the first and second half delineator.
Halfway.
You're wrong. 1-1 for Andrus. That's hit well. Charlie falls, and the ball goes off the wall. Couple runs. Andrus has that first hit. It's 3 bases.
Couple driven in, and last triple long time ago for Andrus. August 29th of last year. This has not been the best series for Charlie Tilson.
Think he gets there if he doesn't slip?
I don't.
I don't either.
I don't think he gets there at all. It's just that he tried to do it a little too quickly. And down goes Tilson.
Now Mazzara, who takes ball one. One zero. That's there. Strike one. Ninth batter of this eighth inning for Texas. 6-run inning, and if it's not full, it's acting like it.
A lot going on in this one. Not a whole lot of it good.
No movement from Andrews.
I think Elvis was just too tired, because normally he scores easily on that. I think Tony Beasley is saying, hey, look, what are you doing?
Elvis has left the ambition.
Maybe it's cooler on the bases than it is in the dugout.
Yeah. This is one of those half innings where you feel like if you walk under a ladder, it might get better. Two and one. Mazzara rips it into center. Another run comes home. This one is far enough for Andrews to lead third, and it's 13-4.
Mazzara with 55 driven in this year, and that is going to be it for Bruce Rondon. Jace Fry coming into the game. So that will be it for Bruce. It's 13-4. And the one thing Ricky did not want to do is bring Fry in, but he's forced to. So as he comes in, we'll step out. We'll be back. Coming on to stem the tide. 25 games, a 1.88 ERA. He's been brilliant out of the bullpen. 31 strikeouts in 24 innings. And I think Ricky wanted to save him for tomorrow's ball game, but that was not a possibility. So he comes on to try to get the final couple of outs in the inning.
That'll drive a pitching coach and a manager crazy.
Yep, not much you can do. Sometimes you put the guys in a position to do it, and they just don't do it.
Beltre takes ball one. He led this inning off with a single to center field. He came around to score. First 6 reached and scored in this inning. There's a strike from Fry. You want a bright spot for 2018? It's Jace Fry.
Absolutely. He's been a revelation out of the bullpen. It was hard to see it coming, but the way he was throwing it in AAA, he earned his promotion, and since coming up here, he's done everything right.
One, two in the dirt, and climbing Omar. 2-2. For a young man who's had Tommy John surgery a couple of times, to have that rebirth over the course of a very short span, one off season, to get back to the majors and look completely different is impressive. Quickly home on 2-2, and Beltre nearly does a 180. Two. Three and two. Beltre stays alive. 5-time Gold Glover. If you think about the length of his career, 14 years ago, he finished second in the MVP voting to Barry Bonds in the National League. That's ball 4. Two on for Rougned Odor. There's that good breaking ball for strike 1 from Jace Fry.
That was a good hook.
Oh, and 2. In the dirt and through Odor.
Well, the good news is there is one out in the inning. The bad news is it's been 34 minutes to get that out.
You didn't ask me which one I wanted first, as is custom.
The good news and the bad news?
This is, you know, it's interesting to look back at your scorebook and say, huh, this was 6-4 when the 8th inning started.
Yeah.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Jace Fry, 4th reliever tonight for Ricky Renteria. Minaya 1 1/3. Avilan for a third of an inning. Rondon a third of an inning. And that one nearly clips Odor. 3-2. Fouled away right hand side. We may have to start asking the question, what's the longest half inning time wise in the majors this year?
This is probably one of them. I think we have a ways to go yet
to get to that record.
Yes.
3-2. Breaking ball, clipped foul. Rangers have been pesky with 2 strikes tonight. Just 6 strikeouts for a team that had the 4th highest strikeout rate in Major League Baseball coming in. Nearly a quarter of their at-bats ended in strikeouts entering tonight.
That's the key to having great seasons, and that is never a wasted at bat. Regardless of the situation, regardless of the score, you just grind out every at bat.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Rougned Odor. Fry struck him out. 2 gone. So now Profar, who has been a tough out to get tonight. He came in just 1 RBI in his last 9 games. Struggling to either have opportunities to drive in runs or drive them in when presented, and he drove in a big 2 in this 8th inning to double the lead and open the spigot on the run scoring in this 8th.
But when you consider he's got 44 driven in, despite that long dry spell, he's having a pretty decent year. I mean, that's a lot of productivity.
Doubles leader on this team with 22 of them now. Fry to Profar. There's a strike. So the Rangers have hit around in both games in this series. The 2nd inning last night, the 8th inning tonight. Yeah, that was a strike, and Omar's glove fell with the pitch. 2-1.
Jay's a little unhappy with that. You can understand that.
Mazzara at second, Beltre at first. 12th batter of the inning for Texas. Hard hit, Moncada for round number 3. Jace Fry gets the final 2 outs. Dak Prescott, a 55-yard run, and the Rangers lead 13-4.
The Miller Lite hold true moment, and it's a bases clearing double back in the 4th inning. That gave the Rangers a lead that they never relinquished. So Chirinos drives in 3, giving him 34 for the year. Had a couple of hits, but none bigger than that one as you take a look at the Ranger catcher.
He's got a new battery mate. And look at the Stars. Look how they shine for him.
Chris Martin on for the 27th time, ERA of 4.30. And he's got 10 holds, which is pretty good. Only 3 walks and 20 strikeouts in 23 innings. That is very good.
Don't have to be a scientist to figure out that that's a good number.
Good number.
Yeah. Sanchez, Abreu, and Garcia will bat here in the 9th. We thank you for sticking around with us after a rough bottom of the 8th inning. The Rangers leading 13-4, and Martin feeds in a strike. Javi Garcia a home run tonight. Matt Davidson a home run. He's got 3 hits to his name. Adam Engel had a pair of hits as well. And Carlos Rodon was done in the 4th inning by a 3-run double from Robinson Chirinos. He made it through 5 1/3, gave up 5 earned runs, but a big strike 3 call he wanted, didn't get, and the frustration built, leading to a big inning for the Rangers. Yolmer looks healthy tonight, and that's good news after that collision on Thursday.
A couple of hits and a sacrifice fly, so a good night offensively for Yolmer.
Lofted up and foul. Couple of balls, couple of strikes from Martin to Sanchez. It's called strike 3 on the outside corner, 1 away. And let's take a look at who's going to pitch tomorrow in the 2:05 finale between the Sox and the Rangers. Reynaldo Lopez and the veteran Cole Hamels.
Should be a good pitchers matchup tomorrow. Opponent's batting average very similar, 233, 237. The biggest difference is Lopez will be here. Hamels will almost undoubtedly be traded.
There may be a last day of summer camp feel in the Rangers clubhouse at some point in late July.
I would think some of the guys that will go for sure might leave a little earlier than the last part of July.
Unless, of course, the Rangers rattled off something like 10 in a row. Then you start to say, well, you know.
You have a chance. Nah, I don't think so.
It's hard to trade everybody when you're the hottest team in baseball, though. There are sometimes wrenches that fall into those plans. 0-2. That is very unlikely. Yes. I should say. Very, very unlikely.
Especially in the division they happen to inhabit, which has some pretty good teams.
Houston 26 over at the start of play today. Seattle 21 over when we opened this Saturday. And if you're the Sox tonight, you just go back to the drawing board tomorrow and hope that Reynaldo Lopez gives you the best version of himself, which we've seen quite a bit this year.
Yeah, he usually goes deep into the game, and tomorrow, like so many other times that Ronaldo has pitched, they can use him going into at least the 7th inning. Bullpen the last 3 games has been used quite a bit.
One and 2. Up the middle, a base hit for Abreu. His first hit of the series comes with 1 out in the 9th. So Reynaldo Lopez, we were talking about pitching tomorrow. His average fastball that you'll see on our telecast tomorrow is about 95 miles an hour, 95 3/10. And that is 12th hardest among qualified starting pitchers in Major League Baseball. He's not the 100 guy, but his low range is not very low either. To third to get one out, Profar to Rougned Odor, 2 down. Avi to first, Abreu out. And the impressive part about Lopez, and you've mentioned this, is late in outings, he still has it.
Oh yeah, he doesn't, maybe a mile an hour or less, but more times than not, that velocity is still the same as it was when the game started.
Two out, Martin to Leori Garcia. This would be win number 38 for the Rangers, would be loss number 54 for the Sox.
And Bartolo Colon, at the ripe age of 44, will even his record at 5-5, which is the envy of a lot of younger pitchers.
We didn't show you, but we asked James Shields before the game what his scouting report on Bartolo Colon as a pitcher is, because Shields is 2 for 2 against him in that game when Colon homered off of him 2 years ago. Bartolo's lone major league home run, and James, very wry as always, said he was looking dead red. But he feels like Bartolo's got the better scouting report on him, so we might be asking the wrong person. 2 balls and a strike on Garcia. Now 2-2. It actually took a while to get James Shields to do the quick interview, because he thought I was setting him up just to talk about the home run that Bartolo hit. He said, "I'm not doing that. You're setting a trap." I said, "No, I'm not."
Are you sure?
I just want to ask you about being 2 for 2 against me.
Sounds like a canard to me.
It was 2-2. Flipped foul. Garcia at first, 2 down. Avi, the base runner. Leori, the batter. 2 balls, 2 strikes in this game 2. Martin has it grounded to second. Odor, a bobble recovery, and that was a hairy but completed final out. Rangers win 13-4.
Irony of that play was Odor went the entire month without an error and almost got it in the last possible time, but he righted the ship after a couple of bobbles and made the play. So a long and very uneventful evening will come to a close as the Sox lose the second extravaganza in this series. Day game tomorrow. Get your rest.
See you then. 2:05 start time. Sox fall to Texas. For our producer Keon Dola-Shahi, our director Todd Benjaminson, our associate producer Dave Ross, the tech manager Mark Harper, and our executive producer Greg Bowman, and our entire NBC Sports crew. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti saying so long from Texas. Coming up next, Subaru White Sox post-game live. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on NBC Sports Chicago. The baton is yours, Chuck Garfien. Good night from Arlington.